In this task, we are going to look at input validation. There are a few tasks here on this lecture on the topic, but also in the book they have one or two tasks about it. This is something that is important and something that we do quite often. And as we don't know how many times the user will give the wrong answer or an answer that we don't like, we have to use a condition-controlled loop. And for this task, I have developed this flowchart, and it will work as follows. We will first give a question to the user. The user will input his or her answer. And if we don't like the answer, and in this case, acceptable answers are yes or no. But if we get something else, we go back and ask the question again. And as soon as we get an acceptable answer, we end the script. So that is the plan for how we will carry out this task, or how we will solve it. And to solve it in code, we need a script, and I will create one here. And if we look here, we can see that the first thing is our message that we should display to the user and asking for the input. And since before we know that we can do both of these things in one go in Python, because when we are asking for an input, we can also supply what message to display on the screen or what question we want to give. So we see that that is the first thing, but there is this loop going back before it. So we have to have that in mind, but I'll start by adding this two here. So here we have the code corresponding to these two, and now we have our condition controlled loop, but it should be around these two, so we actually have to write it before. Alright, here we have some code. Let's try to run it and see what it says. Oh, we forgot a colon. And we see here, name answer is not defined because we ask the user to input it inside the loop. So how can we solve this? One way of doing it is to declare the variable before the loop and say that it's empty. And I maybe say hello. And we see that we get the question again. And maybe I write goodbye. No, but what if I write no? Then we see it end. And what if we run it again and try yes? Then it works too. So we can see that, all right, we have created a loop that keeps asking this question until we get an answer that is either yes or no. And how does this work? Well, if we look within the parentheses, we say answer is equal to yes or answer is equal to no. So here we cover if it is yes or it is no. And we say that the loop should continue as long as it's not one of these two. So we are using not to inverse this. So that is why we continue as long as it's not yes or no. And this is something that is, as we said before, quite common that we want to do to check the input. So it is a good idea to remember how we can solve this. That we can declare the variable first, and then we check against the condition, and inside the loop we are asking the user what we want them to answer, and then the loop will continue until we get an acceptable answer, in this case, yes or no.